Welcome back, and thanks for joining us tonight. Next up, we have a presentation by Nikon, our platinum sponsor, called My Defining Images, a pre-recorded conversation with Malike Sidibe. In this presentation, portrait photographer Malike Sidibe discusses some of his favorite and most important images to date. Malike shares the stories behind these photographs as well as his most recent work covering current events for Time magazine. We are so grateful to Nikon for their ongoing support of the Atlanta Photojournalism Seminar. And now here's the film.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nikon Creators Hour. I am Mike Corrado with Nikon. I've been with Nikon for 35 years and been taking pictures for over 40. We want to bring you these special conversations with photographers. And today we have Malike Sidibe. Welcome, Malike. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Michael. How are you?
It's really, really great to see you. I got to tell you, I'm so proud. You and I met years ago at the Eddie Adams Workshop. We'll talk about all that. But first, how have you been during the pandemic? What have you been up to?
I've been good. Staying home and safe with my family. I was quarantining for a while when the pandemic started. Not going anywhere, just locked in at home. And until the last couple of weeks, I started going out to document the protests. That's when I started breaking my quarantine. But other than that, I've been really good. It's been really interesting with everything that's been going on. But things been moving pretty good.
Yeah, it's been some challenging times, and we can't thank you enough for giving us your time because we know you're really busy to share some of your really cool fashion photos and portraits. I know you're a fashion photographer, a portrait photographer, and now a photojournalist. So we'll talk about all of that over the next hour, I hope, and really dig into the backstories about what you do and how you do it. And we'll get into all the creative, types of lenses you choose, the locations, the lighting, all that's going to be discussed. But let's start off with, I think what I feel is the best question I always ask is, what inspired you to pick up the camera for the first time? And how did that grow into this journey of photography, this passion that you have for making pictures and telling stories?
It's pretty interesting, the way I picked up the camera. For me, I'm originally from West Africa. I was born in Ivory Coast, and I grew up in Guinea. While I was in Guinea, my dad went to visit me from America, and he always had to carry this point and shoot camera with him everywhere he goes. So like he would come home and show us like these images that he'd taken on his trip. And I think that was like my first introduction to the camera. And but at the time I didn't really know if I wanted to be a photographer. I didn't picture it to be in my life. And but he had given me the camera before he came back to America, so I would take it out whenever I get the chance and literally photograph anything I could get my hands on. I would take it to school and photograph my friends. I would take it outside and photograph my neighborhoods and friends and things. And then I moved to America in 2010. And at the time, I wasn't really sure if photography is what I wanted to do. I was really into fashion and portraiture. I mean, and fashion, just fashion and making clothes and fashion design, mainly menswear design. And I started taking classes at FIT. Like I took 2 years out of the classes at FIT. That's when I realized that I don't really like making clothes as much as I like to like photograph them. And from there, that's when I decided to spend a year to save up and got myself my first camera, which was the Nikon 5200. And yeah, ever since from there, I just remember, photographing my friends for fun. And somehow I woke up one day, I'm doing it for a job. Yeah.
And that's awesome. I mean, listen, everybody has a different story about how it gets started. And, so I love that. I never knew that about you, that you were into the clothing first before the photography, but that kind of fits, especially now doing the fashion work you do. And I can't wait to share some of those pictures. Talk a little bit about NYC Salt and what impact that had on you as a young photographer trying to, create a portfolio of work or the work that you're doing now.
I got first introduced to NYC Salt, I think 6 or 7 years ago. I was in high school. It was one of those days where my teacher wasn't in school, and we had a substitute teacher, and I didn't even want to go to class that day. But my friends reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, come to school, so we could do something after class or something." And so I finally decided to go. And the substitute teacher that was there had saw that I have this camera that I wasn't really familiar how to use it. And then she started just giving me tips about the camera, and I started asking her a bunch of questions. And towards the end of the class, I asked her if she knows any after school program I could join to kind of better my skills in photography. And she recommended NYC SALT and like few other programs, but SALT happened to be the one that was really close to my school. And the same day, right after school, I just walked over to the front door, and I was just like, "Hey, I have a camera. And I would just like to be part of this program so I could know how to use it." And they accepted me into the program. And honestly, ever since then, like my photography life has been much more better. They taught me how to use my camera, and they taught me specifically how to use my camera to how do I even describe this? Basically, they helped me. SALT did a lot of things for me. So like, every time I'm talking about this topic, it's just like, I don't even know where to start. But like, since joining the program, they'll give me assignments to go out and shoot and introduce me to editors in the photo industry and other photographers who are out there doing the work. And they helped me find my passion in photography. I think that's the word that I'm looking for. And not only that, they also helped me get into college. They advocated for me in many situations. It's like a second home almost, I could go to SALT every day, no matter the time or the day. I could just walk in there and ask them any questions about photography or life in general. And there's so much thing they did for me. I honestly don't really know.
It sounds like they shaped you as a photographer. They helped you grow as a photographer, because I remember meeting you back in the days that you took the Eddie Adams workshop. Is SALT the driving factor behind going to the Eddie Adams workshop? How'd you find out about the Eddie Adams workshop? And guys, I'm going to brag on Malike now, because he won the grand award and walked away with a pile full of Nikon equipment. But we're not talking about the equipment today. We're talking about Malike. How did you come to the Eddie Adams workshop?
I was introduced to the workshop by SALT. I remember being there, like one of the other alumni were applying to it, and I was just like, "Oh, what is this program?" They're like, "It's really competitive. It's where some of the best journalists come from. You have to be invited to get accepted, and it's very competitive, and it's only 100 people that are allowed to get in." So I made it a challenge for myself. I was just like, "All right, cool. Like, I know I might not be a photojournalist, but I want to go to that program." And throughout the years, SALT helped me build my portfolio. I'll go out and shoot, or like when I see something that I want to create, like when I see like a billboard or image that I want to create, I'll take a screenshot of it and then go show it to them and be like, "Hey, can you teach me how to make this same image?" And they will get out of their way and show me. So through doing that, that helped me build a stable portfolio. And we did a gallery show, one of the annual gallery shows. I think Eddie Adams' wife was there.
Alyssa Adams.
Yes. And she saw some of my work there, and she invited me to apply to the program. And that's how I kind of got connected to the Eddie Adams, and I applied to it, and I got accepted. And I went over there, and working with you was really nice. I think that's when we really connected and started our relationship. And that's how I got to it. It was such a very learning experience. It was such an amazing workshop. I got to meet so many amazing photographers from around the world. And one of my favorite mentors from the program, I had a lot of favorite mentors from the Eddie Adams, but one of my mentors was Stacy Purcell. She's one of the most amazing person I know. That she was my team leader, and we connected. She would tell me what to look for when I'm out shooting, and she was just helping me every step on the way while I was doing the assignments. And with her guidance and everybody else's love and support, I ended up winning the biggest award, which was really cool. I'm still using the equipment till this day.
So tell me, here it is. They're about to present the best award of the workshop, the top honor of the workshop, and you hear your name called. What's going on in your body? Do you jump inside? Do you not believe it? Do you, what's the feeling?
I was like, all right, cool. Like throughout like the whole night they were presented the awards. You know, all these other amazing photographers was getting awards, and I was like, yo, this is so cool. I wasn't expecting myself to win because we both know like I do fashion photography, so like when I was there, I felt like it was more of a learning experience for me. Like I was asking everyone questions about what they're doing and where they come from and what kind of things they're into. And they got to the last award, and they're like, "Yeah, this is the last award." You know, like they started describing the award, which was Nikon 850, and then the 24-7mm lens, and all these amazing, awesome stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Wow, I'm really curious who's gonna win this. Like, I bet it's gonna be one of them." And then they called my name, but I didn't know it was my name because they didn't say it right. So I was there looking, clapping, and looking for the person who won. And everywhere I look, everybody's staring at me. And it was just like, and then Stacy was next to me, and then she started grabbing me. I was like, oh, wait, what? I was the one who won. And the feeling was amazing. I feel like I haven't, like, up till then, I didn't, like, win anything. I don't remember winning any big competition or, like, you know how sometimes you just try your luck and apply for certain things and hoping you win. Like I've never had that experience. So that was like my first experience at actually winning anything because of my skills of what I do. So it was such a turning point in my life because I really realized that I could make a change with my work. And that's when I felt like a real photographer, if that's the word. But yeah, it was just amazing.
Good. It's a great story. And as we roll through your pictures, I'm going to shift over to bringing them up now. But that journalism experience you had at that workshop is now has heavily influenced what you're doing right now with the things you learned. So let me move over, get a little clunky here and start sharing the screen. And let me pull up your first image. Now, take your time with these. I want to know everything because I want to take as much from you as I possibly can because I want to go out and make portraits like you and certainly up my game in the portrait fashion world. Talk about fashion a little bit. What's going on in each of these pictures? You know, maybe cite the focal length that you're using, but how did you come up with these creations? They're gorgeous.
This image specifically is from my personal project titled Mamiwata. And Mamiwata is like this goddess that's mythical goddess that's worshipped in West Africa and a lot of the countries that are around the coast. And she, like, people believe that she lives underwater and she like kind of presents herself to people as like this spiritual. She comes to you like in your dreams, and everyone who have had interactions with her has described her in many ways. Like some has said that she looks like a male figure even. Others have described her as like a half human and half serpent or like half snake. So there's like all these stories about her, and like I'm not gonna really get into it, but like I'm just kind of gonna talk a little bit about how her story influenced me to want to photograph her. Every interaction that people have had with her, they describe her differently. Some have said she looked like a man. Some have said she has so many jewelries on her, and they all described her interaction as very dreamlike. Based on that information, I just felt like it was perfect for my photography. I felt like that I could create something like. I took it as a challenge to be able to create something that nobody has been able to describe, like to give a specific description of, you know, like everybody have different ways to describe it. So I was just like, this is perfect because in my work, I do a lot of different things, especially when it comes to fashion and the colors. Like, even though I guess it has a lot of similarities in the work that I do, but like, I just, like the fact that like nobody really know how she looked like, I felt like that was the perfect, that gave me the freedom to describe her however I wanted. And I could I change up my subjects. I could make them black and I could make them lighter skin, and like I could also make them male or female. And that's what inspired me to, even start like, you know, being interested in her story. And also all my life, I grew up hearing stories about her in West Africa, and she's just been around me all my life. And that's how I started the project. And this image right here, the model is underwater, and I was right above the water taking the image. And I had two gels set up with lights to kind of shine some colors into the water. And yeah, it was just like I wanted to create something that has movement, that has like a dreamlike feeling, just like Mami Wata does, and something that's hard to describe, just like the same way that people are having a hard time to describe Mami Wata. And that's what inspired this specific image. And as you know, a lot of my work has colors and vibrancy, and I wanted to create an image that has a little bit of all of that. And that's how this work came about.
Where did you shoot this particular image? And how do you find the model? How do you reach out to find the people you're going to work with?
This one, I shot it in LA. I was living in LA last year for a year. And I found a friend who had a pool because I can't really swim. So this was such a challenge. I took on a project that involved being underwater, but I can't even really swim. And like the model, my goal was I was looking for a model that knows how to swim, at least better than me. And she happened to be the perfect person, like because I didn't really have like access to a lot of things in LA. I just had like my camera, and I had like the lighting equipment that I had. So I had to work with everything that I could, like anything that I could kind of get my hands on slowly. So like, sorry, I just lost my train of thought a little bit, but like
that's okay. There are people moving around. It's totally okay. This is the fun of all this. It's a conference online. It's totally cool.
But yeah, the model was a friend. A friend of mine knew a model who was like perfect at swimming, and that's how I kind of got introduced to this model. And I was just like, all right, cool. This is not gonna be easy. It's kind of cold out. It's like 6 p.m. in LA. That's when I was thinking about doing the shoot, and you just met up, and we made it happen. It wasn't really it wasn't so much that went into it, but at the same time, so much went into it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I totally understand. Do you describe the creative to the model? Does she understand what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to do here?
That's the hard part with this project. I feel like no matter how I describe the creative or like how I describe the project, they don't really fully get it until they see the final image. You know, I was telling them about this mythical goddess that lives underwater, and they're like, I bet they were probably thinking like, oh, he wants me to be a mermaid, but like it wasn't quite like, you know, it was like a vague story. But like she trusted me, you know, she was just like, you know what, I trust Malike. I believe he's not here to make back photos of me. He's here to make images of me that's gonna look nice, that I'm gonna be happy to look at. So I feel like that connection kind of helped a lot, because then like I would tell her to do certain things under the water, and she would do it with no problem, and she just believed in me, and I'm always grateful for that, because thanks to like that helps me create the image that I'm looking for, like, you know.
No, beautiful. Well, let's roll on to the second image. Again, we're underwater. I got to tell you, Malike, these are like eye-stopping images. I mean, they really stop you in your tracks when you see the color and you see the detail. What's going on here? We're back in the water, but describe what's happening here.
Same story, same project, but different location and different model. Just like the story of Mami Wata, like, you know, she's seen in different places. She's seen wearing different things, and but the interaction with her is always, people describe her to, like, you know, having the interaction with her through some sort of water connected stuff. So like that's the same thing that inspired this image. The model was underwater. This was the part where we went to deeper side of the pool where I couldn't really swim, so I just like asked a friend. I was like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna follow this model. I'm gonna follow the subject underwater, but just know to pull me out in like 5 seconds. And we just went. I told her to go there and act like she was falling and things like that, and then went with the camera in the water and then started snapping, and that's how this image came about. And yeah, the same goal with this. I love the jewelry she was wearing on her neck, and the red color of her outfit is just kind of, I wanted to create something that, you know, I wanted to give a hint of the clothing she was wearing, but like more focused on like the overall look and the feel you get from the image, which is dreamlike and just very dreamy and surreal. And I wanted to have movement in the image, and that's how these all came about.
What lens did you use for each of these? Same lens or different lenses?
I think this one specifically, I used my 20 millimeter, the wide one, just because I didn't have enough space in the water to like do anything else. I used my 24 millimeter, and I think my f-stop was way up high, like 10, just to make sure that she's relatively in focus. Yeah.
And the other picture, you got two totally different dynamics to the image. One is very distorted in its nature and, you know, not clear. This is a little more clear. How many pictures have you done in this project? And how do you know in that moment that you got what you want?
I think so far I probably have up to 20 like final images, like selective, that I have way more, but like I feel like the ones that I want to show people is probably around that's like 20 images. And I don't know, I feel like most of these are still work in progress. Like this image, I feel like I was never done with it when I was editing it. I just got to a point where I was like, this is good. And like, you know, and like this tells me the story. Like I could always, like, not looking at it, there's always stuff that I see that I want to go in there and change. But like, I feel like she's just work in progress. I feel like I'm never really done with the image. So when I'm working on it, I'm never looking for, okay, when I get this, this is my final, this is when when it's done, when I've got the image. But like, I just go into it. I'm always experimenting with something new. So I just never know when is my final look is going to be. I just keep going to where I feel like, you know what, I could settle with this for a bit, but I'm always going back to my images and making change, no matter if it's been published or if it's been posted on Instagram or things like that. But I'm always going back to them to make changes. I feel like the work is never really done when it comes to photography, especially now that you have things like Photoshop and Lightroom. You could always go back in there anytime you want and make it better, you know? And yeah.
Beautiful, beautifully done. I assume this is an ongoing project. It's just not going to end. And maybe we'll see a book at the end of all this, because these are beautiful images.
Possibly.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we're going to roll on. These are outstanding, Malike. I love your portraits. I'm so inspired. What's happening here? This is a different project, right?
Yes. This is my pop-up portrait booth. So basically I started this thing where, because, you know, I love photographing people. I love hearing people's stories. I love seeing different cultures and seeing just people. You know, I'm really interested into people. So like, I decided to create this pop-up portrait booth that just showcase different people and their different personalities. This one, well, the first one that I did was here in New York, in the Lower East Side. Basically, I got like a little studio. I come in there and I set up my backdrop, and I'll usually have 1 or 2 lights. And then it's free for it's open for the public. It's free. Anyone could come stop by and have their portrait taken for free. And sometimes they walk away with a print of the images. So like when I did my first one, it caught the attention of the Met Museum. So they got me to go set up one of the portrait booths at Afropunk Festival, which is like a yearly festival that happens here in Brooklyn. And this was one of the images from the portrait. I just love how like a lot of people came with a lot of different personalities, but they were all so unique. And that's the whole goal about my pop-up portrait booth. And like one day I'm hoping to take it worldwide. Like my goal is to photograph, to do a pop-up in every single country in the world. You know, I know that sounds a bit unrealistic, but it's something that I want to do. I want to just kind of capture different stories and these images that just captures people's beautiful personalities from all over the world and showcase it around the world. I want to be able to show this image to another person in Africa that had no idea how people in New York look like. You know what I mean? So like that's my goal with this pop-up. I just want to create beautiful portraits of all the beautiful people in the world, and that's how this one came about.
What an amazing idea. What a great concept. when they come together, they bringing their own fashion, they're bringing their own props. Do you have stuff on the side there? How do you piece this all together?
Every pop-up has its own theme. Like this one was Afropunk, so the festival already was its own theme. And usually at that festival, people are always like dressing so beautifully and amazing. I have like probably 500 in different images from this pop-up. And but like I've done one in LA that was called 2019 in color. And the reason why I called it that, because you know how like a lot of time when you see images from the older images, they're all black and white. You know, there's just like people are like, oh, these beautiful black and white portraits. Like I wanted to create something similar to that, but like to that 2019 in color. I was just like, I want people to bring their favorite colorful outfit and just come to the pop-up. And I had so many people come with some beautiful colorful outfits and pose in front of the camera. It was really awesome. It was beautiful. Another one I did in LA as well, and also I've also started doing it at like gallery shows or like corporate events, just to kind of capture different vibes and different personalities from different places, and then hopefully I get to showcase that throughout the world in the future.
Beautiful. Where, when any challenges when people come in, any resistance? What are you doing? You know, and any things that you run into that are a big challenge?
It's just certain people come in very shy. That's the only thing. But like, I feel like I'm very good at making people comfortable in front of my camera. You know, like people come in sometimes they're just like, I don't know what to do, and I just kind of briefly talk to them very fast and just get to know them. And I don't know. I feel like people find me funny a lot. When I'm photographing people, I feel like I don't know, I just make them laugh a little bit, and then out of nowhere, you know, they're just like very chill. They feel like, okay, you know, I could trust this photographer. I feel like that's the most important part. Like, no matter what you do, this is one of the things that I learned at SALT. One of the things that they taught me is just that you have to be able to connect with your subject. Your subject have to trust you. Like, I walk around, like, especially during these protests, or like, you know, I've done it in the past, but like I'll walk around with my camera and I'll meet random strangers and we'll have the best 5 minutes conversation, like probably some of the best that I've ever had, you know, like just because I'm opening myself up to them and they're opening themselves up to me and they feel comfortable. And like knowing how to create that connection is the most important thing as a photographer, or your life will be really, really hard, you know. Let's say if you got 15 minutes, you got to photograph this person. If you don't really know how to connect with them, I'm not sure if you're gonna get the right image that describe them the best way, you know. And I'm grateful. That's one of the things that I'm really good at. So that's, yeah, I don't really think it's a challenge. There's any challenge when I'm doing these photos, but yeah.
Well done, well done. And I know this is another shot from that series. Talk about this picture. What lens are you using for these?
These ones, I use my 24 to 70 millimeter, just because the space that I had to shoot wasn't really that big. I think it was about 10 foot by 10 foot space at the festival. So for things like that, I always bring my 24 to 70 millimeter, because if I wanted to go close in with the to get like a tighter shot, I could do that. I could set the lens to 50 millimeter, or if I wanted to go a little bit wider, or like if I want to get a bit closer but go wider, I could do that with that lens. That's what I use for this image. And same thing, just another different person with another different like unique personality, you know, like that's what I love about this image. And like her outfit, the colors, her reaction, and just the way she's standing is what made it my favorite portrait.
Is there do you develop relationships with the people you shoot? I know many photographers have long-term relationships after they meet certain people that they photograph. Do you develop relationships with the subjects?
For this pop-up specifically, no. It's just like they just came to the festival and they were like, oh, this random photographer is doing this really cool pop-up. I'm gonna hop in, chat with them a little bit, get to know them. Most of them usually follow me on Instagram, so I guess we stay in touch like that. You know, like a lot of the people that I've met through my pop-up, they're always staying supportive. As soon as they start following me on Instagram, they're always reaching out to me to like questions. Some people will ask me questions about the camera and like, you know, or they'll talk to me a little bit about some of the projects they're doing and how I could kind of give them some feedback on it. And I'm always open to do stuff like that, to give back. And yeah, I guess that's the long-term relationship I built with these guys, just staying in touch through social media. And, you know, when I have another pop-up, usually I've seen a lot of people come back to it and participate again. So that shows me that that I'm doing something right and that they like it. And that just motivates me a little bit more to continue doing what I'm doing.
So when you set up a pop-up, are you promoting this online and Instagram saying, I'm going to be here at a certain time, please come, and they show up?
Very last minute. I'll post it like a week or 5 days before, and through Instagram, or also I have it on Eventbrite. So I guess a little bit of people find it somehow on Eventbrite, but like I promote it on my Instagram, Facebook, and few of my friends also promote it for me. But I haven't really done any, like, you know, street promotions, like putting out what do you call it,
No
posters.
flyers or anything like that, right?
I haven't done anything like that. It's all been to social media, and I've had like really good outcomes. Like the ones at the Met Museum, I think the one at Afropunk for the Met Museum, I think I had about 700 people stop by during the 2 days, which was intense if you really think about it. Just photographing 700 people. Like I literally, I think if I remember correctly, I didn't really take lunch break or anything in those 2 days when I was there. I was there for about close to 12 hours, I think, shooting this. And the ones that I've had on my own in New York and LA, I've had anywhere from 200 to 300 people stop by and have their portrait taken. And I did one last July or October here in New York. That was one of my biggest ones that I did on my own. And I think I had about 450 or something like that people stop by. And I'm hoping to do a bit more than that the next time I do it. So
How does it feel inside to have a place like the Met recognize your work and reach out to you? I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. How do you feel about stuff like that?
it was amazing because I don't know, I feel like those feelings, like I acknowledge it, and like it like makes me very excited, but then at the same time it's just also very dreamlike. It's just so surreal. Like because I never expected myself, you know, to be doing anything with the Met, you know. Like I went to the Met Museum to see work of my favorite photographer, my favorite painters, and learn about the history and things, and I never thought I could be part of anything like that. So like the feeling is still hitting me every once in a while. You just come to me and be like, wow, I really did this with the Met Museum. Like it's just amazing. I feel like it's a continuous amazing feeling, if that's the word, if that's a way to describe it. Just very amazing. I just feel very grateful to be able to do that, and I hope to do more of it.
Well, we hope you do too. You just mentioned people, you know, photographers or work and art that inspires you. Do you have any names? Who inspires you in the way of photography and artists?
One of the person that really inspired me from from when I started photography, that still continue to inspire me, is Nick Knight. I'm not sure if you're very familiar. He's from London, I think. I'm not sure if he's specific, but he's from the UK. Nick Knight's work is amazing. He's just very creative. I feel like every time he does something, he's doing something new. And I just want to be like him when I grow up. But other photographers that have also inspired me, like Richard Avedon and Gordon Parks, which is one of my favorite photographer. His work is just so amazing every time I look at it. Also Malike Sidibe, who I have the same name with. I think he inspired my pop-up portrait booth a lot. His photos from the 60s of like the African people in Mali dancing and things like that. I feel like that energy is always what I'm looking for when I'm doing these pop-up portrait booth. I want people to be as excited as like the subjects in Malike Sidibe's work, and that's what I'm always going for. And yeah, Gordon Parks, Richard Avedon, and
Beautiful.
Nick Knight are some of the just the top three. But other than that, my mentors like Alicia Henson and Adam Shinist, or and Michael Bucheri, who works at the Getty Images now. I feel like those three people are like one of the ones that inspired me a lot. Like getting to know them personally, and also seeing their work and seeing how they do it, and being so close to them that I see what all the work that they put into the work. Especially Adam. I spent literally 90% of my time in the studio with him, seeing him work on his still life stuff, or like when he's doing portrait. I learned so much from him. Yeah, like those are the people who inspired me.
No, that's awesome. Again, I mean, Alicia and Adam from Salt, they're doing such an amazing job, and to see where you are now, they must be really proud of you. I'm really proud of you. So we're going to shift gears a little bit now to some more recent events, and I'm going to pull up some photos that you've shot recently. And we talked about this a little earlier about the Eddie Adams Workshop being a journalism workshop. You took the career path of portrait and fashion, but recent events kind of made you change your mind about getting out there to shoot a little differently. Talk about this experience.
Since the coronavirus started, the COVID-19 started, and I was quarantining. I was staying home and showing my little brothers how to use Lightroom and things like that. And then the whole police brutality started again with George Floyd's death. Which was very, very sad. It's so funny, not funny. It's just so interesting that when it happened, the video was circulating online. Like I remember seeing the video, and I was just like, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw the video. I'm like, you know, I know what's already gonna happen in this video. I don't want to watch it. Like, you know, that was like until the 29th, which was I think Thursday the 29th. Not until then, that day, that's the day that we're having the protest here in New York. Not up until then, I saw the full video, and it was just very, like I'm talking about it right now, I'm getting chills. It was just the most horrible video I've ever seen in my life. And it just kind of broke me out of like a certain level that I've never experienced before. And like, that's when I decided to pick up my phone. I just called my friend. I was like, look, we're going out to protest today. This is like, we have to do something. We can't just be one of those people that just stay home and just watch what's going on. Like we have to go there and participate, because this is like, and it's so crazy because when I called my friend, he was literally feeling the same way. And he was like, yeah, I've been feeling this way for the last few days. This thing just has, it just broke everyone's heart. And like, I'm feeling like a bit emotional right now talking about it, but like, yeah, like we decided 2 hours before the protest, we're going to go out there, we're going to start to, and then I went out, and then I realized, I was like, you know what, I'm going to come back and pick up my camera. I went back home, picked up my camera, got on the bus, took the train, went to the protest, and I didn't know what to expect. This was the first, like, I've never been to a protest in my life. So me going out to this, just, you kind of could tell why, you know, how aggravated I was. And so I went out. It was the first protest I've ever been. I didn't know what to expect. And I was just there, and out of nowhere, the cops just started like being so violent, like, you know, like them ways that I've never seen before. And it was just crazy. I've seen people getting pepper sprayed. I've gotten pepper sprayed. I've seen people get hit, and just happened the fact that I had my camera out there, I just started documenting it. I put on my flash. I just started walking around taking images of what was actually going on. I didn't want to create, like, pose an image. I didn't want to, like, I forgot, I literally put behind my fashion and my creative stuff behind. I just put a close, like, you know what?
You're a journalist here. You turn into a photojournalist in that moment.
Exactly.
When you out and you took all these pictures, after you took all the pictures, how did these pictures get circulated? You've been published in a number of places. Did you then share these images with people? How did these images come to be published?
I took the images of, like, my goal was to just photograph what's going on, like what I see. And like, I went out and I did that. And as soon as I got back home, I didn't go home directly. I went to my friend's place, and we were just kind of talking about what was going on. And I was looking through the image. I'm like, no, I have to post these images so people are seeing what's actually really going out there, so they could be inspired to go out there and protest as well, because we have to stand up for what's going on. And that's how it came about. I pulled out my iPad, edited the images, posted them on my Instagram, and then it caught the attention of a lot of people. And I've had a lot of people reach out to me saying that these images are the reason why they're going out there to protest. And I felt like that's what motivated me to keep going out there and photographing what's really going on. And then hoping that it will inspire more people to stand up for what's right.
Mm-hmm. So you go out the first night, you go out, you just go back and grab your camera. Mm-hmm. After that first night, I mean, I know things had gotten a lot more peaceful as time went on, but what do you do to prepare now when you go back out? So you went out the first night, you were impacted by this. What do you do to prepare yourself to go out the second time?
I went out. I was actually very prepared on the first night. I made sure that I had my mask. I had water in my backpack, and I had snacks just in case things get crazy. And I wrote down the number of my lawyer on my hands just in case if I need to get in touch with anyone for emergency. And I shared my location with almost all my friends that I know, because I've had people reach out to me and be like, please be careful and things like that. And they'll ask me to share my location with them and if things goes wrong. So I was like, to be safe, I share my location with my family members and my friends. And also I make sure I have contact information of people that I need to reach out to in case if I get arrested or if I get in trouble. And I always have extra masks in my bag for people who needs them at the protest, hand sanitizers, and milk. It's always very important to carry milk just in case you get pepper sprayed. So that's what I've been doing to be prepared. But the third day that I went out, I got a press pass from Time Magazine, which they asked me if I could cover that one for them. So I just they gave me a press pass, and they also gave me a vest to wear in case if things get crazy.
I was going to mention that because we had spoken on the phone, and you had told me you were going back out, and of course I was concerned, and I said please be safe. And you mentioned you were going up to pick up protective gear, and so I was so happy to hear that. When you get into these situations and you start shooting, and obviously these are very, very serious pictures, it's a very, very serious situation. What are your emotions as you're making the pictures? Talk photographically what you're seeing and where you felt like you need to be. And how did you know where to go? Did you hear a protest was going to happen and then you followed it? Or did did Time come to you, or New York Times, or any of the local agencies come to you and say, hey, can you go cover this here?
The way it came about, like I just decided I wanted to go to the protest because I wanted to participate in the protest. That's how this whole thing started. And it just happened to be that I had my camera with me. And once they started seeing the images that I posted on Instagram, that's when they started asking me to go out later on days, like after the first day that I went out. But the first day, me being there was just me wanting to go there and to document what's going on for myself. And it just eventually happened that they became interested in it. But sorry, what was the other question that you asked?
I was just saying, how did you determine where to go? So it was people telling you, hey, a protest is going to happen in Brooklyn, a protest is going to happen in the city, or it's going to happen in the Bronx, and you just follow it?
It was mostly, the first one was mostly word of mouth. My friends like told me that, hey, this is where people are gathering, we're going to go. And also there's been multiple Instagram accounts that make sure that posts what happened. And also there's the Citizen app, which I've started using recently. It just tells you what's going on in the neighborhood or around you as it's happening. But yeah, and also when I was on the ground photographing, some of these moments that I capture is that I don't know, I guess that's when my photojournalist side kicked in. It was just like when I was on the ground, I'm always just like, I felt like I was like a step ahead, just kind of paying attention to like people's emotions and the cops, like paying attention, like being in the present and being present and seeing what's going on kind of helped me like almost predict what's going to happen next. Like, for example, some of the shots that I haven't, that we don't have here, but like we're like, I caught pepper spraying one of the protesters, and you know, it started out they were just going back and forth together, and like I was just staring at that and like paying it close attention and seeing what the cop's reaction is and seeing what his emotions, like what is he gonna do next. And you could always tell when somebody's about to get violent based on how they act and things like that. So that's how I kind of look out for what's going on and make sure that I'm staying safe and I'm not getting caught in between them, but I'm just at a good distance where I could make images.
And like I mentioned before, you've had quite a few images published from this. The story continues on. You've done an incredible job, Malike, and I'm so proud of you. I know a lot of people are. And it's just, it's a horrible time, but I do feel like people are starting to listen, and that's the most important part. Thank you for sharing that. I can hardly talk right now, but let me bring you back full screen and stop sharing. There you are. Wow. Well, it's one heck of a way to end this interview, but I got to tell you, taking it back to everything from the beginning, the work you've done in fashion and portraits is phenomenal, and I assume that's all going to keep going on, and that is your passion and genre in photography. That's where you're going to keep going.
Yeah, definitely. Fashion and portraiture has always been my #1 passion, and but recently I'm starting to learn how important journalism is, and how important it is for the world, and how important it is for me. And so like I feel like I could definitely see myself also pursuing both at the same time, fashion and journalism, because I think both sides of it is important. So it's important to be creative and create fun, beautiful stuff just for the sake of art, but it's also important to document what's really happening in the moment just for our own personal sake and for the future. And I think both of them is equally as important for the world, and you know, and I definitely see myself pursuing both different subjects.
Genres. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, it's hard because I've interviewed so many different photographers and filmmakers, and some of them in a career for 40 to 50 years, and you're just starting out. This is you just starting out, Malike. And I will never forget our time together. We went to a store and we did a presentation together on the power of mentoring. And to see you now, how you flourished and how your talents have risen, and the work that you're doing, I know a lot of people are proud of you. So thank you, Malike, for spending some time with us during this Creators Hour. It's so important to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate you, and thank you for your continuous love and support. It always means a lot, and I look forward to what other stories we'll have at the end of this decade or so.
We will have plenty of stories to tell, Malike. And again, you know, we've had our opportunities at trade shows and on panel discussions, so it's always been great to talk to you. Just promise me one thing: you go back out there, you be safe, whatever you do.
Definitely will do. Thank you.
All right, those tuning in, thank you for spending the hour with us. And Malike, before you go, what is your Instagram handle?
My Instagram handle is Malike Sidibe, which is spelled MALIKE SIDIBE.
Beautiful. Well, continued success, Malike. Those of you tuning in, thank you for your time as well. We hope you've been inspired. We hope you go out there and make some great pictures. Work on some of that beautiful fashion type stuff that Malike has been doing. It's amazing work. We can't thank you enough, and we hope that the work that we're bringing you and these conversations we're bringing you do inspire you to get out there to take better pictures. Check out NikonUSA.com/The Creators Hour for interviews we've done before and work that's been posted and all kinds of tips. And for Nikon, I am Mike Corrado. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.